We know that a Werewolf by Night Halloween special is set to release this October, with Gael Garcia Bernal starring as Jack Russell, and with filming starting on March 22nd and ending on April 23rd of this year, it makes sense that someone may have at the very least read the script already, which is exactly what we have today. Like always, take this with a grain of salt as it's coming from 4chan, but this leaker says, I have seen most of the script, but not any footage. Also, I'm not sure how long it'll be, but I've heard it could be in an episode format instead of a short movie. Werewolf by Night is Jack Russell, and this special won't be an origin story. Jack already knows of his power/curse and tries to avoid using it because he can't control it. Also, he only becomes a werewolf during a full moon, but he does learn how to turn whenever he wants by picturing a full moon in his mind later in the story. We learn that he locks himself up in an abandoned church far away from everyone when there's a full moon so as to not hurt people. Apparently they're using practical effects for his werewolf form, but I don't know how he'll look. There's a flashback scene at the beginning where Jack is talking to his mother as a child. She tells him a story that centuries ago, a curse was put on his father's bloodline by a powerful vampire, Dracula. She says that his father only thought it was a myth told by his mother to terrorize him, but on one of his researches, he researched ancient artifacts. He found a book that made the myth become a reality. He read something that he shouldn't have and turned into a werewolf. She tells him that's the reason why they moved from Transylvania to America. His father wanted to protect them, so he stayed behind. Jack asks what happened to him, but she doesn't know. Jack was around 2 at the time, and his sister was a few months old. She says that before they moved, his father told her to tell him about the curse because he feared that it could affect Jack and Lisa, his sister, and that they had to be aware of any abnormal signs while growing up. Apparently, while she's telling the story, there will be a creepy animation showing what happened. I heard it'll look similar to the beginning of Resident Evil Village when Mia is reading a story to her baby. Also, the Darkhold will be shown as the book that Jack's father was researching in the animation, and he'll be taking notes in a journal. So it's possible that the Darkhold scriptures could still be stored somewhere even after Wanda destroyed the original Darkhold in Wundagore. Elsa Bloodstone will have a big role in this special. She's a monster hunter and is looking for a creature that has been killing people around Jack's location. She follows a few clues and gets to the church where Jack is locking himself up. She fights him in his werewolf form and ends up beating him. When Jack transforms back into a human, he realizes he's tied up with a rope. Elsa asks questions, believing him to be the monster that's been killing people in town. He says that he never killed anyone because he remembers everything after turning back into a human, and the only person he ever attacked was his sister. After that, he started locking himself up in the church and waited until the night was over during a full moon. He also says that he's looking for a cure for his curse. Elsa still doesn't believe him, so he volunteers to help her find the creature. By the end of the special, they both end up liking each other, and it's a relationship that Marvel will probably explore more in the future. Elsa and Jack have a monster hunting adventure where they meet and fight a few monsters, but none of which is the killer. One of the monsters is Man-Thing, and they find him in a swamp. They fight because he thinks that they're there for evil purposes. He's very sarcastic and also mentions that he protects the gateway to other realities in the swamp. Now this is really important for 2 reasons. One, it's heavily rumored that we're getting a Man-Thing Halloween special next October, so in 2023, and it would make a ton of sense to introduce the character here and set him up for his own special. 2, in WandaVision we were introduced to Nexus beings and the Nexus, or the Nexus of all realities, which is what Man-Thing, just like in the comics, is seemingly protecting here. Now again, take this with a grain of salt, but I did mention in my Deadpool 3 video a few days ago that in the Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe comic, he does interact with Man-Thing, and that's how he ends up killing everyone in the multiverse, including the Marvel writers in the real world. I also mentioned that while not confirmed, it seems like Marvel Studios is setting up all the pieces needed to make Deadpool 3 Deadpool Kills the Fox Universe. There are just too many connections being set up for this to merely be a coincidence. Anyways, the leaker continues by saying, we also see a mummy and a monster called Manphibian. More monsters will probably show up, but these are the ones that I know are in it. The main villain and killer is Nina Price, Jack's niece who can turn into a vampire. Jack distanced himself from his sister after he attacked her, so he doesn't really know Nina that well. Nina can't control her bloodlust, so she kills people. But it's later revealed that everyone she's killed were terrible people like predators, rapists, murderers, etc. So she saw herself as a kind of vigilante. The script describes scenes where she brutally kills people, but I'm not sure how much they will show. The final fight is between Nina and Jack while Elsa assists. Jack says that she can still keep using her curse for good, but she has to stop killing people. She doesn't agree and keeps fighting, saying it's impossible to control her bloodlust. Jack says that if he managed to control his powers, which is the first time where he actually acknowledges it as a power and not a curse, then she'll also be able to. Not exactly sure how the fight will go, but it ends with Nina agreeing to be trained by Jack to control her powers, and there's a scene where Jack reunites with his sister in the end. There are only 2 scenes with MCU references that I know of. The first is Moon Knight. which is mentioned in a scene where Jack is watching the news and they report that a mysterious white vigilante saved people in London. The other being Blade, which appears either at the end or in the post-credit scene. He says he's been following Jack and knows how powerful he is. He's creating a group to defend Earth from a supernatural force capable of dooming everyone. Blade also says that he's already gotten a few people to join his group, but that he needs more. And the scene ends with Jack wanting to learn more about it. Now I believe this will be the first time that we see Mahershala Ali as Blade, and not just as a voice like in the Eternals. He doesn't name the group, but it will certainly be the Midnight Suns. I'm not sure how well it'll translate to screen, but there are descriptions of jump scares and horror aspects in the script. Based on what I know and have heard, this will be a really fun and scary Halloween special that will focus more on the supernatural side of the MCU. Also, I don't know for sure, but I've heard the Blade movie is also a Midnight Suns movie. Now this sounds great, and I think a lot of people would be happy with this special if it turned out like the leaker described it. But there's a lot happening. We don't know for sure how long the specials will be, but to me, this seems like a lot for, let's say, 45 minutes. It really sounds like it'll be closer to a full-length movie. Now the leaker did say that it may be in an episode format, but then again, they were only filming for a month, so I doubt they have that much footage. The only thing I hope isn't true is that the Blade movie will also be a Midnight Suns movie. It's quite obvious that the Midnight Suns are being set up in the MCU, but at least for this Blade reboot, I think most fans would agree that we want it to be a solo movie. We know that Black Knight and most likely Elsa Bloodstone will be in it as well, but then if you dump Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, and who knows, possibly even Man-Thing in it, it won't be a Blade movie at all, and will instead just be a Midnight Suns movie. So I don't know. Take this all as you will, and let me know what you think about this leak and of Blade possibly being a Midnight Suns movie. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you'll never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and remember to wash your hands and stay safe.